From the Beaver County Auto Studios, it's a Penguins Quickie, because sometimes a Quickie is a lot more fun than the full hour. Hi, I'm Dan Kingerski for Pittsburgh Hockey Now and Pittsburgh Sports Live. So what will the Penguins do without Evgeni Malkin? You know, this guy. On Sunday night, the Penguins announced that Malkin is week to week with an upper body injury. Let's be honest, we all know it was most likely the result of that cross-check from Robert Bortuzzo on Saturday. Not penalized on the ice, but Malkin, I don't know if the TV cameras showed it, Malkin went straight to the ice. He laid motionless for several seconds before moving and eventually being helped to the bench and leaving the ice surface. He came back, he finished the game. But obviously, Malkin suffered a little bit of a bit more severe injury than we were led to believe on Saturday. So what will the Penguins do? Here is what they did on Sunday night. Top line, of course, McCann, Crosby, and Gensel. The de facto second line, it wasn't listed this way on the sheet, but in terms of ice time, this line played almost 20 minutes. Simone, Bukestad, Hornquist. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. This line has been rock solid. They have been aggressive in all three zones. They have controlled the puck, controlled territory. Most importantly, they've dominated scoring chances. That, if anything, if there's any sort of something to hang your hat on going forward for the Penguins, it's that this line has been even better than the Malkin line. Yes, Malkin's more talented, but this line right here has been very good. Also on Sunday night, Teddy Blueger stepped in between Phil Kessel and Brian Rust. Rust returned to the lineup against Philadelphia. Blueger was really good. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but I will tell you something maybe you didn't realize. Blueger only played about 11:26 on Sunday night. If you want to know how a coach feels about a player or a situation, look at the ice time. Blueger's drastically reduced ice time for what was a second-line center role. That tells you a good bit. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to it. And the fourth line, it didn't get a lot of sunshine collectively. Blandisi didn't play a whole lot. Wilson, I think, was sub 9 minutes, though Matt Cullen played 11 and a half minutes. So that tells you what the Penguins were doing, was they were essentially sharing third and fourth center duties between Blueger and Cullen. Add that pin to the bulletin board as well. So now we've got 2 pins in that regarding Teddy Blueger. Let me give you one of those little Mike Sullivan poker tips. Sullivan has a great ability to present an artful dodge to questions. When they acquired Nick Bukestad, we kept asking, me included, so Bukestad is your third-line center, right? And Sullivan kept dodging that question, saying, well, he's very versatile. He can play center or he can play wing. After the first couple games, when the position opened up, they moved Bukestad to right wing. They really wanted him there, and they had McCann as the third-line center. Well, it wasn't until the Stadium Series game when that position needed to be filled. McCann wasn't doing the job at the 3C either, so they put Bukestad back there. And lo and behold, the Penguins went on a pretty good run, 6-2-2 in 10, and they were 9-2-2 in their last 13 before this past weekend. So Bukestad has kind of locked down that middle, but the point is Sullivan, with that artful dodge about Bukestad, he gave the same kind of artful dodge on Sunday night when asked about Teddy Blueger. Would Blueger be the center going forward? Well, we'll take it on a game-by-game basis, was Sullivan's quote. In other words, the Penguins are going to experiment, or they've already got a different plan in place. I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm telling you I think what's going to happen. Here is where I think the Penguins are going to go with that second/third line. I think they're going to drop McCann back to center ice with Phil Kessel. Blueger then naturally slides over to the left wing. Like I said, again, I didn't tell you I agreed with this. I think you're going to see this however, in which case the top line goes back to where it was before Brian Rust injury, and that's with Rust on the right wing with Sidney Crosby and Jake Gensel over at his natural left wing position. I thought Teddy Blueger was really good on Sunday night. You saw him score the goal, the Penguins' only goal on Sunday night. He and Brian Rust put Phil Kessel in some good positions. The first time in a long time, I think a line has put Kessel in good positions. And to Kessel's credit, he was present. I don't think he played very well. I think his turnovers at the blue line and his misplays were at times ghastly. But when that line was going 5-on-5, there was a little something for Blueger there. Again, I think they might default back to Teddy Blueger in the middle because it just makes too much sense. It's easy. But I think the Penguins want to see some other things, and that other thing is Jared McCann at center ice. So that's what I think the Penguins will do without Evgeni Malkin. And by the way, for everyone jumping off the bridges and fretting and hand-wringing about the lack of playoffs for the Penguins, they're going to miss the playoffs now. Breathe, relax. The Penguins have a 7-point cushion on Monday over the Montreal Canadiens. The Canadiens have 10 games left. Let's assume, worst case scenario here, Montreal goes 8-2 in those 10 games. That means the Penguins only need 9 points in their final 9 games. That's 4 wins and an overtime loss. Do you think they can pull that off? Have you seen how good that Nick Bjugstad line is? So relax. The Penguins' playoff position is mostly secure. Now the seedings, that's where things might get tricky. If they fall down into that second wild card and draw Tampa Bay because they're missing Evgeni Malkin, well, I'm sorry to say, I don't think the Penguins would have a great chance in that series. So if there's anything to watch and a reason to really accumulate wins, it's to avoid Tampa Bay in the first round without Evgeni Malkin. That's your Penguins Quickie. I'm Dan Kingerski here on Pittsburgh Hockey Now.